Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sunday Politics live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimaloye in Akure, the Ondo State capital, where we've been monitoring for you the coverage of the Ondo governorship election, which has now been determined. Winners determined, losers determined. Tonight, we should get into how the election was won and lost and some of the takeaways from the election. But before we get into that, let's talk about what has become a major story tonight in Nigeria, and it's about the ENDSARS, hashtag ENDSARS protest. So earlier today, there were been protests across the globe, from London to Lagos to Abuja. There have been protests, but the protests in Abuja didn't go quite well, because at some point, the protesters were tear gassed and water cannons were pointed at them, and they were dispersed. But after then, the Inspector General of Police, MUHAMMED, announced the dissolution of the Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squad, the EFSAS, after days of protests across the country. The police unit, which was established to combat cases of armed robbery, kidnapping, and other violent crimes, has been criticized for arbitrary detainment of citizens, harassment, and SARS, instead, over time, has gained notoriety for its reckless intimidation of innocent civilians through pariah profiling and wanton abuse of power. The Inspector General of Police said that it's according to the order of the president. Take a listen to the IG on the disbandment of SARS.
Following a review of the current developments and in due cognizance of the wide and legitimately held concerns of well-meaning citizens on the existence and operations of Special Anti-Robbery Squad as a responsive and citizen-oriented police force, it is hereby directed as follows. 1. The Special Anti-Robbery Squad of the Nigerian Police, otherwise known as SARS, is hereby dissolved across all formations, the 36 state police commands, and the Federal Capital Territory, where they currently exist. 2. All officers and men currently serving in the unit are to be deployed with immediate effect. 3. New policing arrangements to address the offenses of armed robbery and other violent crimes that fall within the mandate of the dissolved Special Anti-Robbery Squad shall be presented in due course. 4. A Citizens and Strategic Holders Forum will be formed to regularly interface with the leadership of the police at all levels and advise on police activities. 5. To deal with the reports of crimes committed against citizens, an investigation team will be constituted, which will include civil society organizations for transparency, and the culprit will be punished.
So you heard the IG. The president has also spoken in a statement earlier today. The president has said that is a directive to heed the call of and the cry of citizen. But of course, we understand also that the House of Representatives said that they will go on with the reforms of police. There was a statement from the office of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila. The slide, the statement reads in part, the dissolution of SARS was a necessary response by the government to outcry arising from multiple documented excesses of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad across the country. The Speaker wishes to assure all Nigerians that the dissolution of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad will not preclude the ongoing efforts by the House of Representatives to effect reforms of the police through legislation. There are broader perspectives to dissolution of the EFSAS. If you remove EFSAS, what then will cover up for the issue of robbery within the police force? How then can they tackle robbery? Tonight, let's speak to a former commissioner of police to give us a sense of what this means. I'm being joined from our Abuja studio by Mr. EMMANUEL OJUKWU, a former commissioner of police. Thank you so much, Mr. OJUKWU, for joining us tonight. What does this mean? This is not the first time we've heard and seen agitations against SARS. Since it was created, there's been a lot of criticism against SARS. But the move by the federal government today, how does this come to you, being someone who had being at that top level in the Nigerian police force?
I think it's a very welcome development. For the very first time, probably for the very first time, the government and the police heeded to the cries and agitations of Nigerians for a change in a particular direction. So I think the government scored the first, Nigerian police. I give them kudos for being responsive to this cry of Nigerians that SARS should be abolished. So it's a good development. And I look forward that in the years to come, days to come, other issues that need to be ended will also be ended. Let Nigerians cry and let the government listen, let the police listen, so we can move forward in this country.
OJUKWU, if you remove SARS, would there be a vacuum?
Yeah, SARS is Special Anti-Robbery Squad. Before SARS came, and even as SARS existed, there were anti-robbery teams, anti-robbery units, anti-robbery sections in every police, criminal investigation department in all the states, the FCT, and of course at the federal level in the first CID. So we still have the anti-robbery sections operating in all the states of the federation, including FCT and at the federal level. There are also other units that work hand in hand with SARS. We have anti-kidnapping units in so many states. Some have anti-human trafficking units in their states. Some also have anti-cultism units in their states. The police is very well ready, able, and available to meet the safety and security needs of Nigerians. And so the IG and the other commissioners of police, they've always worked to make sure that Nigerians have a safe and secure environment to do their businesses. Minus SARS, the police will still operate, but minus SARS is a minus to the effectiveness of the police in countering violent crimes, which are even coming up more and more. So we need to do something quick to get a replacement for SARS.
So part of the statement from the office of the IG says, new policing arrangements to address the offenses of armed robbery and other violent crimes that fall within the mandate of the dissolved Special Anti-Robbery Squad shall be presented in due course. These sound to me that you're just removing the name, but the man SARS still remains in the police force.
Well, SARS was created 28 years ago, and they've recorded significant successes in combating violent crime in this country. They've been able to remove or put out of circulation various violent criminals that have made Nigeria not to sleep with their two eyes. SARS did that. They operated significantly, effectively in the Northeast. The first successes gained by Nigeria in the fight against Boko Haram were done mainly by the SARS. These current efforts in the Northwest, some parts of Nigeria where have violent crime, SARS have been doing that. And that SARS is a response by Nigeria police to live up to the expectations of Nigerians for them to have a good environment to go about their lawful businesses. So when you remove SARS, it lies on the IG under the law, and which is what he has just stated. There must be a new arrangement, and that has to be fast, to fill in that gap created by the dissolution of SARS. So SARS has gone, but Nigeria police still remains. It still has a mandate to secure the internal landscape, the internal space of Nigeria. No other group does it but Nigeria police. And the IG being the head, he has gone ahead. By dissolving SARS, he has gone ahead to begin to tinker with his team on the way forward. So our Nigerians will have a peaceful country and that our democracy will thrive. So he's doing a good job.
Well, I mean, I'm not being pessimistic here, but I'm trying to be reasonable. And I'm looking at the fact that when the protest about ENDSARS came forward, I tried to dissect the issues and look at what exactly is at the heart of all of these issues. For me, it does look now that ending SARS, coming from a directive from the president, looks like a gift that we do not know the details. So it does sound good to the ears of the young Nigerians who took to the street that SARS is no more in theory, but in practice, there still looks like there is a SARS behind the veil.
Well, you're entitled to the pessimism anyway, but I'm optimistic. And I believe I've served in the police for 32 years. The police has never wavered when it comes to solving issues of crime. SARS is a result, is one such product to make sure Nigerians live in peace and do their businesses well. Now, but along the line, many of us are witnesses. Along the line, the officers began to go beyond their script. Some of them anyway. And they began to do things that were untoward. Things that brought them in conflict with the law and that antagonized the SARS, the outfit, with Nigerians. And also became a fourth line. Whatever good things police did, SARS became a sore thumb. And so removing it is also good for police image. But then again, every SARS personnel is first and foremost a policeman or policewoman. The IG mentioned, which is right, they will be redeployed to other areas to do the other works of policing, as general duty policemen. Other policemen have to come from some other places within the force to this organization that the IG wants to set up, or the scheme, or the arrangement, or whatever. It may bear any name, it may not have a name, but the IG has a mandate given to him by the law, by the constitution, to secure Nigeria's internal land space. And he has to do it. And in doing that, he has to use policemen, not his children, but people employed by Nigerians, 360,000 policemen or so. From amongst them will be the men and the women to fill in the gap left by SARS. The bottom line is that armed robbery has not ceased. SARS has ended, but armed robbery has not ended. Yahoo, so to speak, it has not ended. SARS has ended, even though it's not their mandate. Other violent crimes have not ceased. In fact, they're even coming more and more. So the police leadership has to put on a quicker thinking cap, which is what the IG said. That immediately this one is going, a new one is coming. I want Nigerians to be optimistic and have trust in their police. If the police doesn't do it, nobody else will do it. Nobody will fight the criminals. Nobody will make Abuja-Kaduna Road free and safe. Nobody will make Abuja-Kogi Road free and safe. Nobody will make the East-West Road free and safe, except the police. And the police will not come from other sections. There will be men and women who are trained to counter these violent criminals. Get them removed from the scene so that you and I can sleep with our eyes closed.
Mr. OJUKWU, apologies if I may quickly cut in. And this is where my worry is. The thousands and hundreds of thousands of Nigerian police force that we have in the country, brave men, heroes in our society, most of them. But the bad eggs there, those who have the heart to harass Nigerian citizens, unarmed Nigerians that are being harassed every day, those that are being killed on the streets of Nigeria, young Nigerians that are being unnecessarily profiled. The question is, where did these go? Where did things go wrong? Where did we get this kind of police officers who every day, I have been harassed before by police officers. So these are Nigerian citizens. So if you remove SARS, and they say there's going to be another system to fight armed robbery. It does look to me that it was a great gift that was given by the government today, and another name is going to be given to it tomorrow.
Well, I don't think the police would like to be beaten again. As I said earlier on, the bad operation of some officers of SARS created image problem for Nigeria police, created credibility gap, the pessimism you just expressed. It became a fault line. The police that I know would not like to repeat such a mistake. What many of us agitate is not just ending SARS, but reforming the entire Nigeria police. Let their attitude to themselves, attitude to life, attitude to work be reorganized and be remodeled. Let them be properly motivated by Nigerians, and let them be properly trained by Nigerians to serve them better. The IG will get men from Nigeria police to fill in the gap and do the work SARS was doing, by whatever name. They must still do it. But are they coming with the right attitude? So we need to properly train the policemen. That is why I like the Police Trust Fund, which the current government graciously approved. It's going to help to train policemen properly, give them good equipment, give them right orientation. But issue of motivation, salary, is still there. When men are properly motivated, they are properly equipped, properly trained, they will deliver. By and large, some of them got it wrong. Because if you stay too long in a system of violence, where you are trained to be violent to overcome violence, over time they callous. Over time they may become sadistic. Over time they just take it that violence is normal. Such men need psychological reorientation over time. The police wasn't doing that until recently, when they created a mental care advocacy also. And the current Police Act has given room for the IG to train officers, retrain them, get them pass through psychological tests, and then to employ psychologists within Nigeria police. Many officers go through trauma, and nobody attends to them, and the people are armed. Some of them turn the arms against themselves. You may not hear that.
Mr. OJUKWU,
but when they turn against the public, we hear,
and supposed to do some of these things that they advise, being an experienced former police officer, people will listen. Channels Television had done an expose on the welfare of officers in training and in the past. And we do hope that some of the things that have been brought to light from the past years and now will be fixed in the Nigerian police force. I want to sincerely thank you, Mr. EMMANUEL OJUKWU, a former commissioner of police. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight on the program.